Hi, my name is Elle Brown, and my research project explores a critical but often overlooked question. To what extent has anti trafficking legislation actually improved the lived experiences and outcomes of trafficking survivors? This question stems from my longstanding interest in human rights and public policy, and specifically in how systems that are meant to help vulnerable people sometimes unintentionally fall short. Why does this matter? Human trafficking is one of the most hidden and harmful global issues today. Survivors often face systematic barriers, stigma, and a lack of coordinated support. While laws have been passed in the US and internationally to combat trafficking, I wanted to understand, do these laws actually work on the ground for the people that they're supposed to protect? What we know so far, or my literature summary, um, is that much of the existing research, including reports by Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, focuses on the policy language, what included, what's included in legislation, such as protections or penalties. There's a lot of words being spoken. Academic sources go deeper. Studies show that while laws like the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, TVPA, include language about victim support, enforcement is not even or does not match up. Survivors often still face detention, lack of housing, or limited access to legal aid. What's missing is a detailed survivor centered evaluation evaluation of how laws have changed and actually made a difference in the lives of survivors. We don't have enough information or research yet that asks, did survivors actually gain access to the resources created? Do the victims feel safer, more stable, or empowered? That's the gap in my project. Um, that is, my project is hoping to address. My research design is that I am proposing a mixed method study combining both qualitative and quantitative approaches. Part one of my research project is the qualitative interviews. I would conduct in depth interviews with about 15 to 20 trafficking survivors. These interviews would be conducted in collaboration with trusted nonprofit organizations that already serve this population, so they're not new to this, to ensure safety and trust in the survivors and everybody involved. A sample interview question could be, what kind of support services did you receive after exiting trafficking situation? Or did you feel that law enforcement or legal systems treated you fairly? Or another example is, what barriers did you face in accessing housing, therapy, or legal aid? I will use trauma-informed protocols and ensure confidentiality when the victims are answering these questions. I also hope to provide therapy options afterwards to provide emotional safety throughout, and knowing that the victims will have emotional support after these questions. Part two of my study is the quantitative data collection. I will also gather secondary data from the public and nonprofit sources, such as the Department of Justice Polaris Project's National Human Trafficking Hotline NGO case database. From these, I'll extract variables like the number of survivors before and after, legislation type, and frequency of services received. Time to access legal services, legal outcomes, visas, um, opera, operas, operationalizing the variables. Um, the independent variable is the strength of the anti-trafficking legislation measured by the presence of victim protections and the level of funding enforcement. The dependent variables are the survivor outcomes, like the access to shelter and emotional stability, and engagement with legal systems. I'll code laws using a legislative scorecard and analyze survivor narratives using theme based coding. Challenges that I expect to face in my study are several real limitations, including access to survivors because of the level of trauma and privacy involved. It may be difficult to recruit participants or to get honest answers without fear. Data inconsistency is another problem. Considering that data from the NGOs or government is not often consistent, not standardized, and it makes it difficult to compare across different regions. Um, Legislative complexity laws change over time, and local implementation may vary from place to place, even when the federal mandates still exist. Still, I believe this research is not only possible, but necessary. Survivors deserve more than promises, more than policy promises. They deserve systems that actually work. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm excited to continue developing this project um, further in my career. Thanks.